can post the link in the chat. It's documented. It's on a nationally syndicated magazine against MAGA. I've spoken out against MAGA on a regular basis. I said they are enemies to American progress. I am not a MAGA person. So what I am is I'm a rational, logical person. And what I'm saying is, when you listen to the messaging of the Democratic Party, it might not be evil, but it's anti-American as fuck. Like, I'm sorry, it is, Lisa. Like, you can't sit here and expect people to corral around defund the police, for fucking sake. That shit is black people.
TC, you're being disingenuous right now.
That's not disingenuous.
Can I have a conversation with TC?
It was the Democrats that were promoting defund the police, not the Republicans.
TC, I get it, but you can't in all honesty, when you know that defund the police did not mean take the police out of the community.
Oh, I know that, but that was the messaging Democrats were working with. Damn, imbecile.
Stop crying.
Quinn, where do you think the lines are drawn? It's the Democrats that help the Republicans because of their messaging. The simple messaging that gets across is ammunition for the Republicans to eviscerate Democrats in elections.
They took that message and co-opted it. They took the message and I'm not, you know what? It's a blame for us because we allowed it to happen instead of coming out and saying, what the fuck are you talking about? Nobody's talking about getting rid of all the police in the communities. We are educated, sensible people. We know that our communities need to have some type of law enforcement. If you're in this audience and you think that they don't, you're delusional. It is no way you can have a society, a cooperative society with some type of rules, guidelines, and people who enforce them. That is ridiculous. We allowed them to co-opt that message, talk about taking all the police out, doing, policing ourselves. We never said that. We were talking about community-based policing, taking the money that they're using to mow us down and shoot us down, and let's realign it or reallocate it someplace else to more community-based policing by people who look like us. It's really crazy.
Democrats didn't run on defunding the police at all.
No, I'm saying Brooklyn. I'm saying they co-opted the message. That's my point right there. They did it, though. That's how it turned into what it was.
That was something that that MAGA put on the Democrats. The Democrats never said anything about defunding the police. That was an independent organization.
That's not true, Brooklyn. That's not true. That was a messaging that was promoted by the Democrats.
What Democrats?
Wait. I'm finding the dialogue. Hold on one second. I'll tell you.
Because I will, but right now,
yes.
Because I'm in
I was in the protest myself. I literally walked the streets, doing the same chant, defund the police. Hold on. You guys wanted facts? Do you guys want facts or you guys want feelings? Can I defend my position or not? Camden, New Jersey. Hold on. Let's talk about the facts for a second. Let's bring it down and elevate the conversation.
No,
Camden, New Jersey.
That was
okay. So stop it. It was a Democrat organization. Hold on. 1 second.
Let us work through this. I'll give you guys back the mic because he took it to defund the police. I wasn't even talking about that. I was talking basically about how. I asked him a question, and I don't know how we got to defund the police, but I asked you a question. When you look at the BOB, whatever the fuck you guys are calling it, the dumbest shit ever, big beautiful bill, and we sitting up here saying it like morons. You just look at it. Look at the things that it's been set up to do, proposed to do, line by line, and you see that it's nothing but hurting marginal people. How can you support that? How can you go to sleep at night knowing that people will not have food because they think people are sitting around all day long on a system that's not even designed to help you move forward? It's designed to keep you stagnant in a place of being I don't know where. How can you? Then you move on to the next line. They're talking about taking away health care. These are basic, should be food and health care in this country of more than what we need. People who are gluttony. It's a country of gluttony. How can you figure that the first thing you need to do to balance a budget is to take away from those that don't have? and those who are struggling. I'm working at Walmart. I need the stamps. I need the health care, because the big bad bully at Walmart, the people who own it, who are billionaires twice, 3, 4 times over, don't want to pay people what they're worth. So that's why people are doing that. So that's what we were talking about. I don't know how we got.
Well, you got to that because you were talking about, he was giving an example of democratic principles that he thought were quote unquote un-American. You were talking about, he had already answered what you said, Lisa. He conceded that MAGA gets it wrong more than they get it right. He said that. So we can acknowledge that. So he did say that.
And that's for him to bring up
yeah, but what he was saying about defund the police is absolutely wrong, and he understands that. And my point to you, TC, is that you're doing exactly what they're doing. You were co-opting that message to use it against Democrats via propaganda, even though
that's not true, and you know that's not true.
But you literally,
you have to go on.
I'm going to tell you why you're doing that. You're doing that because it was not an official slogan of the Democratic Party. It was embraced by some progressive activists and a few Democratic politicians, but it was not the official slogan of the Democratic Party in any way, shape, or form. You are using that as you know that it didn't come from the Democratic Party. You're using it because it came from some Democrats who happen to be aligned with other organizations like Black Lives Matter.
So Quinn,
you're using that as an evidence of Democratic.
Let's dialogue.
No, let me say something. Wait, before you go, let me just say this. You're full of shit, and you know why you're full of shit to even bring up defund the police when
Brooklyn, I want to respond to you in a minute. Let me deal with Quinn for right now.
When we were talking about defunding the police, you voted for Biden, so you're a fucking hypocrite. Okay, stop with the bullshit. We already know why. We know why we didn't win. We get that part. For you to keep bringing up all of these asinine points that have nothing to do with what we're talking about right now in 2025, it's ridiculous. Like, you voted for defunding the police, TC.
Did you really vote for
What the fuck is you talking about? He voted for Biden, and he was supporting Biden up until Kamala won. Ran.
That's funny.
Like, the nerve of you. This is why you should have shut up.
That's a good point.
Before you got started.
All right, are we done? Are we done attacking the person that disagrees now? Can we get back to the conversation?
He wasn't attacking. He was pointing out your inconsistency.
No, I'm very consistent. I'm very consistent, and I've been consistent.
No,
I've been consistent. I was at Lisa's. April, you were. April, stop it. Hold on. I can deal with. Listen, you guys are ganging up on me now. First it was Lisa. Then it was Quinn. Then it was Brooklyn. Now I got to respond to April. Like, you guys stop.
You don't have to respond to me at all.
You were in there. Yeah, because you're now maligning my motives. You're maligning my motives and saying I was inconsistent. Somehow just suggests. Well, then I'm going to defend that because you were in the very room I was in with Lisa. You were in that room when I came out and flat out told you guys there's no reason why Kamala Harris should be running right now. You need to have an open primary. You need to have some sort of convention, some sort of like open debate system. So again, this has nothing to do with.
But that's not even accurate.
Because somebody decided to try and bring up my voting consistency, I had to defend it. But let me go back to Quinn.
What you do, but you
hold on, Quinn.
No, I'm saying, but as a point of contention, brother, real quick, you do have to acknowledge what she said. If you voted in lieu of that.
Then you're talking about my voting has nothing to do with
Biden. Well, I understand that, but I'm saying that it's tough for you to make that argument.
It's not tough. If you actually listen, hold on, dude.
Okay,
you think you got me dead to rights, bro? I don't know why I came out against Kamala Harris. I don't know if you know why I came out against Kamala Harris, but you'll know it has nothing to do with defund the police, voting for defund the police, or any of that shit. I don't even know where that came from. But anyways, let me just say, let me. Yes, I introduced it because I have proof behind it. Unlike what you're saying, Quinn, you're actually wrong. This was not just some sort of like disjointed messaging from fringe groups in the Democratic Party that got, co-opted. That's exactly what you said.
No, sir, I can repeat what I said. I didn't say that.
Okay, all right. Well, like I said, it was actually the position of the Democratic Party.
It was.
Okay,
That's exactly what I said.
Okay, so let's deal with that then. Listen, you guys know me by now. I don't come on stages and say shit I cannot back up.
Okay.
You guys at least know that.
No, we don't know that you're going to shit and back shit.
Anybody can Google this. Minneapolis police. Hold on. Anybody can Google this. Anybody can Google this. The Democratic Party, the Democratic elected city council in Minneapolis literally pledged to dismantle their Minneapolis Police Department. This is not conjecture. This is not speculation. This is documented historical evidence. You can go look this up by the Democratic officials in that city. It was not some fringe group. It was not a co-opted message. It was the policy position of the Minneapolis City Council that was Democratic. Secondly, Camden, New Jersey. We know that they failed it and they overturned it eventually, but Camden, New Jersey, from their Democratic lawmakers, committed to, excuse 2020. Go look it up. 2020. Hold on. No, I'm dealing with Quinn. No, we're not talking about 2024 right now. We're talking about 2020. Because Quinn said I didn't know what I was talking about. I had no proof to disprove his assertion that I was wrong, that this was some sort of co-opted messaging campaign. No, it was
that was not a national platform.
Stated. I didn't say it had to be. We talked about this before, Patty. It does not have to be a national platform for that to be the messaging that groups across the country adopt so that they can ideology. All I'm saying is this: you cannot expect Americans to sign up for the type of bullshittery anti-American messaging like defund the police that cities started adopting across this country, Democratic cities particularly, and say that's not the Democratic message. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I'm dumb. But that's the message that everybody got, and that's the message that defeated you guys in 2024 because they were able to. Because you gave the Republicans the ammunition.
I'm about to say, but defund police was doing. Defund police was doing COVID. That was 2020. That was during COVID.
Hold on.
So why are you bringing up something that would happen in 2020 where the person who you decided to vote for just last one had actually lost? Defund police was 2020.
That's what I'm saying. This is a pointless point. If you would have said the trans issue, yeah, we might have could have went with that, but you didn't. You and Lisa were talking about now. This administration, this last election, you want to bring up 2020. This is why we don't listen to you. And no, you never come with any points. It's never right. You're always wrong.
TC, I have a question for you. Are there, and we know that there are, so I'm just being rhetorical, but
I would like for you to grapple with the reality that your position was wrong, that this
I don't have to do that.
Policy position of Democrats in office, they adopted the messaging and they promoted the messaging.
Well, the problem is that you're addressing and that's exactly what I was addressing by asking you that question. Because there are some Democrats that link on to some policies. Does that make it a Democratic position?
It does for that city. Yes, it does.
Well, I didn't say for that city. I asked you a general question. I didn't say for that city. I said, does it make it a general Democratic message? Because there are some Democrats that latch on to that message. You can say yes or no. It's a really easy answer.
I think he left.
Yeah, see, I was getting ready to expose the hypocrisy in his messaging because he actually voted for a party which he doesn't align with all of the things in the party. You actually voted for a party and even though you co-opted that message, you still don't agree with everything in the party, but you still voted.
He doesn't align. He doesn't align. This is all an act. That's why he has stupid talking points.
Gotcha. Okay, we can move on.
Yeah, this is an act, y'all.
Shit was just, oh my God. Like, out of all of the things he could have mentioned, he gonna say defund the police.
This is why I tried to
and he literally
swerve him out of the conversation. But nah, people with me and me, I've dealt with him doing this shit for 2 fucking years now.
See, I don't know I don't talk to him that much, so
like 2 fucking years. I remember when he was he was biting, then all of a sudden it just went to Trump out of left because Kamala became the goddamn nominee.
That was the only
We've seen every fucking thing divulge. That's why I said I'm gonna just let this go ahead and go. Cause people like Whitney land on top. Whitney mean.
I stand on every position I stood on.
I was asking
Everything I said. I didn't talk myself into. I appreciate you for letting me speak. I think I've spoken.
You said we lost. You said that the Democrats lost an election of something that was in 2020. That is crazy. You can't come back from that. You can't come back from that. You said they lost an election off defund the police when Biden won that election.
Hold on. Calm down for a second. You guys are confused. Completely different things. I was talking about messaging that Americans rejected.
Right.
And I referenced defund the police. What Quinn said was that was not the position of the Democrats. Those were fringe groups that adopted the messaging and co-opted it. It got co-opted, is what he said.
He about to try to swizzle his way up out his bag.
You mentioned Black Lives Matter, which is actually what I mentioned originally.
Black Lives Matter is not a fringe group. They're still
okay. So it's fine. You want to quibble over semantics, Queen?
I'm not quibbling over semantics. I'm saying
fine.
that
I'll concede that point. I'll concede that they're not a fringe group.
No,
y'all about to see Houdini. Y'all about to see Houdini in the flesh. How he about to try to get himself up out of here.
I'm actually over the conversation because you guys can't even deal with facts.
No. I'm not.
Whether or not Black Lives Matter is a fringe. Basis of what I'm saying.
That's not what I said.
When you presented, but you haven't presented.
I started making wedding plans. Oh yeah. I had to put on some goddamn what's love got to do with it? Because what TC got to do with this conversation, we don't fucking know, baby. He about to try to get all off topic, all derails and all to try to prove a point. I know it ain't gonna work out fine. It ain't gonna work out fine. TC be telling you it ain't gonna work out fine. Oh no. No, it's not gonna.
That's what about Epstein again. I wonder how you can swivel out of that.
I wasn't referring. I just mentioned that they weren't fringe groups, TC. I said they were. I'm acknowledging your point. There were some Democrats who embraced that message. My point to you is what you said is not true, in that it wasn't a Democratic policy. Hence the question I asked you.
But Quinn, I just proved to you it was a Democratic policy. I gave you actual city councils that literally created policy around that messaging. Which is what got interpreted by Americans. Okay, fine. Hold on. Fine, that's fine, Quinn. I'll give you that. I'll concede whatever you want me to concede. At the very least, what you can't do is you can't run away from the reality that this was messaging perpetrated by the Democratic Party that got nationally syndicated.
That was the case.
And that's what. And that's
what. It was a good message because Biden won based on it. And that was the case. And it was a good message because Biden won when that message was fucking popular. So what your point is still not right. You're wrong. Either way.
We're sitting here talking about 2020 while last week an American, a veteran, was arrested and held for 3 days by ICE. And we're talking about this fucking bullshit. Is that, you know why? Because they don't want to talk. They don't want to talk about alligators. They don't want to talk about Epstein. So they're deflecting about how Democrats are so horrible and terrible and never do anything right, blah, blah, blah. While the Supreme Court, the White House, and Congress are all Republican, all on that side, and we're in hell right now. But you want to talk about 2020 and defund the police. This is wild. The depths that you guys will go to, not speak about what's going on today.
And he'll be gone in 5 minutes because he don't want to talk about real stuff.
The terrible decisions of their 2024 vote. Let's talk about that and how people are losing. His supporters are